So I went to pay my mortgage on the first, which I pay all my bills on the first. And my mortgage company said that they had been hacked. For the first 7 days, we couldn't pay anything. They said there would be no penalties. On the seventh day, they said, go ahead and call in your payments. So I called my payment with my debit card. But listen to what this guy says going on.
John here, one of the biggest cyber attacks in American history has just happened.
The lending service company Mr. Cooper is the latest to fall victim to the ubiquitous cybersecurity hack.
Impacting 4.3 million property owners. They can't pay their mortgage. They can't get into their account. They're completely locked out. For context, if you were to look at the entire state of Florida and add up every single person, every single property that had a mortgage, it would almost be this size. That's how big this problem is. Almost $1 trillion in loans. This is the third largest mortgage holder in the United States of America. That's how big this situation is. But when you look at what's going on behind the scenes, it really makes you scratch your head. Just yesterday, for example, in Australia, half of the country did not have internet and power.
There's a communication chaos affecting millions of Australians.
It's being described as the biggest national phone outage ever, a tech fault affecting mobile, fixed line and broadband services.
Half of the country. You look at what happened on Friday. You had Bank of America, US Bank, Wells Fargo, Chase. They all had issues with ACH deposits. Remember that?
They trying to convince us it's hackers, but I remember they said it was the Great Depression when the banks actually took everybody's money and left them penniless. Now all these banks are having problems, but they said, oh, we don't have any money. Biden sending money to all these countries. We're failing, blah, blah, blah. I go downtown. They got all these new semi-trucks downtown, all these new pickup trucks. I'm like, look at this. They saying there's something going on, but you see brand new semi trucks that has fresh off the market being delivered to these companies. They are doing basically using the media to lie to us. There is no way that $73 million just disappear into thin air, into nowhere. They are redirecting those funds to the people that they want to have them. These companies are building beautiful homes. I saw some homes on YouTube that was gorgeous.
People are still waiting for their money tonight. US Bank, Wells Fargo, Huntington Bank, everyone shared the same message about a deposit delay.
Employers could not pay employees. Millions of Americans couldn't get paid. Then on Monday, you had another bank that failed. $70 million in assets completely wiped out. You look at what's going on here, it's pretty insane. But I'm going to show you what's going on with mortgages, what's happening with real estate, because I think this entire industry. So Mr. Cooper is the third largest mortgage servicer in America. 4.3 million customers. 4.3 million customers. So for context, state of Florida, 56% of every property has a mortgage, right? 56% of these 10.2 million properties. So that comes out to about 5.7 million properties. 5.7 million. Mr. Cooper, this situation is 4.3 million. 4.3 million customers right here. 4.3. So Mr. Cooper, one of America's largest non-bank mortgage loan servicers, suffered a cyber attack last week that disrupted loan payments and other transactions for millions of customers. Happened October 31st. We're now November 8th. So for the last 9 days, they couldn't do anything. They can't pay their bills, nothing, right? So the company based in Coppell, Texas, said in a regulatory filing last week that it was attacked on October 31st. A notice on its website said Mr. Cooper took immediate steps to lock down our systems, which prevented customers from making online payments or gaining access to the account information. The company said on Monday afternoon that it had restored its system for accepting payments. Well, that's what they're saying, but here, this just came out, Benghazi.
So I checked the system, and it's Wednesday, November 8th, 2023, and the system for Cooper is still out. It is not working for millions of customers.
Just an hour and a half ago, saying, nope, still unable to make payments. So when you look at what's happening here, just going back the last, let's say the past hour, past 24 hours, you'll see that you're still, if you are a Mr. Cooper customer, you're still locked out of your account. So it still blocks millions of mortgage payments 17 hours ago. So you still look at what's happening, still unable to make payments. exposes 4.3 million customers, their private data, their private information. You look at this, I mean, it's pretty shocking. Look at what happened in Australia last night. Reuters, right? Outage causes chaos in Australia before services restored. This came out today, 1:50.
They want the masses to panic and worry. Meanwhile, $73 million is sitting somewhere, probably being spent by somebody.
Sydney, an outage at number 2 Australia telco, Optus, left nearly half the population without internet or phone on Wednesday, throwing payment, transport, health systems into chaos, raising questions about the fragility of the country's core infrastructure. The outage was first reported at 4 a.m. It was not until almost 5:30 p.m. that it had services restored. So you think about that. That coupled with what they're doing here says I believe we're walking into a really, really big problem. So it says the Department of Homeland Security and its components play a lead role in strengthening cybersecurity resilience across the nation and sectors investigating malicious cyber activity and advancing.
I just think it's funny how it's hit all the banks. The cyber hit all the banks, and the money is mysteriously missing.
Cybersecurity alongside our democratic values and principles. President Biden has made cybersecurity a top priority for the Biden-Harris administration at all levels of government to advance the president's commitment and to reflect enhancements of the nation's cybersecurity resilience is a top priority for DHS. Security Secretary issued a call for action dedicated to.
They had been hinting around at the Great Depression a few years ago when they had the COVID issue. And then COVID was a remix from an old thing they had back in the 1930s too. It was in 1921. The Spanish flu. They have taken, and the Spanish flu killed a whole bunch of people just like COVID did. They have taken the Bible and wrote out a blueprint for them to follow. And then you see some things in the Bible start coming true because they'll start replaying. Then they just take all regular history and do that again when they want to get ahead, do something. I think it's really just tricking the people, tricking the masses, and stealing. And a lot of people don't put their money in the banks anymore. Remember they used to say they put their money under their mattress and the shoebox because they didn't trust the banks? Because they knew what happened before and it was going to happen again.